Hi there, and thank you so much for watching. In this recording, I'm going to introduce you to our application Act on It. So if you just installed this in a sandbox or you're getting started and you want to know how you can start to build your own use cases, then this video is very much for you. So firstly, allow me to introduce you to our most popular feature, which is our Act on It inbox. So we'll see a new message arrive today. There we go. So this is our user push notification console within Salesforce, and we created it because we found that so much of the information that your users need tends to be hidden behind tabs, in related lists, in reports and in dashboards. So make it difficult to know what should you follow up on, what do you need to reply to, what have you forgotten, and leaving admins struggling on how to solve that challenges without spamming people with the emails and relying on the bell notification, which is not as advanced. So this notification console here is influenced by over 100 ideas from the Salesforce community to bring everything that needs your team's attention into a single organized actionable location in Salesforce. So you can add this inbox to your service console, sales console, any custom application that you have. And here we can see I've got a whole host of example use cases here, but you might have something unique to your business. And I've grouped them into categories. So I've got an at-risk category here where we've got a lead that's been sat in the queue too long that needs to get out so we don't risk, so that we can qualify that lead quickly. I've got a recommendation to follow up on this account because it's not had any activity in a while. I've been mentioned in chatter. I've got a reply to an email on a case. These are my example kind of categories and groupings, but you can invent these yourselves. You might have high, medium, low. You might have opportunities, leads, cases. It's completely up to you. But the key here is that it allows your users to cut through the noise and get to the heart of what's relevant to them in that moment. And they can also filter by date and filter by individual use case type here, and do a search as well. So I'm going to focus now on, let's say, my reminders. What am I being reminded about? So it looks like I have an open task that is overdue. If I hover over, I can see the details of that task without having to click through, or I have a quick link here where I'm launched immediately into the record and I can see, yep, this task is past its due date. Then what I can do is I can edit the task from here without having to go anywhere, or I have plugged in some custom actions that are relevant and helpful for this notification type here. So if I say, look, I'm going to actually action that in 3 days time, we can see the due date has just been automatically updated there, and that's good, and I'm good to close that down now, and I'll be reminded if that happens again. So let's look at another example, like our customer replies. So here I can see the email. I can see that if I hover here, I'm the only person who's notified about this, and it's currently open. But I'm not actually in a position to action this right now, so what can I do? Well, I might be able to save that for later, and that becomes logged and bookmarked and ready to be returned to whenever I want to. Or maybe I want to snooze it, and let's just say, look, I'm not ready to tackle this, but I need to reply maybe in 2 hours time when I have the information that I need. And that's then gone and disappeared, but it's not gone forever, because if we go to our snooze section here, we can see that it's queued, and I can see when it's going to be re-delivered to me, and I can therefore reschedule it or unsnooze it and bring it back into focus so I can then act on it. So there's so much more to this application, and if you ever want to learn more, this is a really helpful link to our knowledge base here that can direct you to all of the features and functionality of that inbox to bring a better experience for your users. So how do we deliver these notifications, you might be wondering. So if you go to the Act on It application, which you can search for here, this is the hub of the application here. This is where you can start to manage everything from building notifications to managing your users and permissions to extending Act on It to work for your custom applications like your custom objects and other installed applications as well. And the home page immediately reveals the data that is being collected by the app as well. So if I refresh this to see today's notifications, I can see how many notifications have been sent. So there's 11 in total. All of them have been read, but if they were unread, there'd be some here. And I can start to drill down further and further into the details. So I can see there are 2 notifications that have been closed. 9 notifications that have been closed and 2 remain open. I can see that breakdown by individual type, and I can also see that down at a user level as well. And obviously this is all sample test data at the moment. So this gives you an overview of the application, how many notifications that you're sending to your users, which is really helpful because you can see it's helpful insights of how frequently things are happening. Are you spamming your users? Are they engaging with the application as well? All of that is really good operational insight. So how do you navigate? The next thing I want to highlight for you if you're just getting started with the application is this blueprint library down here. So these are out of the box pre-built templates that we've created for you around common use cases that you might find helpful for your business. So have a little look through these. If you like what you see, you can then enable it. So a lead assigned to user looks helpful. Maybe a lead without any activity. If I scroll down, if I'm a service organization, I might want to be notified if a case is escalated or if there's a milestone approaching, the customer's left a comment on the case. And then some around task managers, like an overdue task or a task assigned to my queue, maybe an approval request reminder, etc. So if I click build there, it's going to create 8 new notification types for me there. And now if I click review notifications, we're taken to all of the notifications that were configured, and these are under the notification tab here. So this will all likely look new to you because this isn't part of standard Salesforce, this is part of our application. Salesforce has the ability to send notifications, and you can continue to send act on it push notifications using familiar tools like Flow and Apex if you want to. But what this does is this gives you we have a lightweight notification builder that allows you to build notifications in minutes, hyper personalized notifications as well. So if I click through to one of our examples that we created, let's keep it simple for now and say task assigned to queue. That looks good. So here we're in the editing kind of console for this particular notification. We can see it's currently inactive, but I can activate it if I want to. And then I'm seeing the breakdown of the business logic for this. So act on it will send this notification to the person who's been assigned to, including queue owners if it's sat in a queue, when tasks are created or updated and a change is made to the assignee. So if it's a new task or if it's being pushed into a queue from a user, provided that the task is still open, it's not closed, and the owner type is queue. There you go. That's what restricts it to being just about a queue. And if I want to make changes, I can come down to the left-hand side and I can change the recipient, I can change the conditions and the design. So you can come in here and you can edit these to work for your business if they are relevant. What if they're not relevant? What if you've got a very particular use case that's unique to your business? So if you click on the notification tab and go to new, you'll be able to start to build a brand new notification. And there are far too many types to go into for this call. It sits outside the scope of that. But I thought it might be helpful to actually build a very simple use case together so I can show you about the setup. So firstly, I'm going to choose a timed and proactive alert. I'm going to choose an example that was fairly recently raised to us. So let's say we want to be notified about any accounts that haven't had any recent activity. So I'll give this a name. First of all, hello James, let's start by providing a name. So accounts without activity. Which type of records are you interested in tracking today? Well, it could be any type of object in Salesforce, including custom objects as well, but we are focusing on accounts today. Now we go to the next step where we're asked, when would you like to send your notification? And this is when Act on it finds accounts created within, let's just send the sky high for now, 5,000 days. We can adjust this, but make the following conditions. So if I expand the condition console, a bit like applying filters in a report, this is how you can zero in on the types of accounts that are of interest. So for this use case, it's accounts that haven't had any activity. And I know there's a last activity date. Do I know this? There it is, last activity. And I can say, well, that is blank or less than 45 days ago, for example. So I know that the last time that we engaged with this account is either never, because it's blank, or it was over 45 days ago. And that's how I can add those conditions and criteria here, and you can expand that as you need to. Oh, I have to move my face to the confirm. Okay, and we'll go to the next step. Here is how frequently we would like Act on it to search for these accounts and notify a recipient. So if you are a consultant or an admin, you'll be familiar with scheduled flows, but you'll know that they can only be run once a day. So if you've got other use cases, you might want to run this multiple times a day. So I think once a day is fine for this use case. So let's just say it's at 8 AM, but you could have multiple times a day, and you can have this run every hour, every couple of hours. You can have it run as frequently as every minute, and it is scalable enough to do that. So if you've got things like case milestones that you want to be really held on, or maybe if you're using live chat and you want it to monitor your chats to make sure that if everyone's busy, someone's made aware of it and a supervisor made aware of it. That's what this is intended for. But let's keep it simple. 8 a.m. every morning on select days of the week, let's say Monday to Friday, we're going to notify our teams there. So who are we going to notify though? By default, it's going to assume that I get a notification, and you have the flexibility to build notifications just for yourself if you want to sort of subscribe to an event or subscribe to something, so you don't have to be constantly pinned to Salesforce all day long. But more often than not, you'll want to target this outbound. That's where the value is. You create an automation that just notifies the people that need to know about it. So you can notify individual users, or you can notify members of particular queues, members of certain roles. More often than not though, you will want to notify someone directly related to the record. So let's go to related users, and we can choose any user, such as the created by, last modified by, the owner's manager, you know, whoever. But the account owner is more likely for this use case who we'll want to target. Okay, and we'll confirm that. Oh, I didn't add it. Did I add it? Let's quickly add it one more time. I didn't add it. Okay, let's confirm that and go to the next step. Okay, this is the fun part now, right? This is where we can start to design our message. So I know I have this one built already, but you can spend some time customizing how you'd like to. If I fire this test message here, we'll see that arrive in the inbox. There we go. I've got this one firing confetti, which isn't maybe appropriate. So how can we adjust this? Just to show you some of the customizability of the application, you can edit individual design. Various settings I won't go into at this stage, but there's plenty of knowledge articles available. But I can change the look and feel of this message. I can crucially choose what can the user do with it. Can they close it? Can they snooze it? What values can they see here when they hover? Can they opt out of receiving these notifications if they don't find them helpful? Can they customize how they get notified as well? Is another part of the application that they can have hyper-personalized experiences. So they can choose, do I get an email? Do I get a mobile push notification? Does it pop up? Does it play a sound prompt? It sort of flips it from being the admin's responsibility and one shoe fits all into hyper-personalized you choose. It's up to you how you get notified. This is supposed to help you. In the next step, we can plug in our actions. So we saw some more compelling use cases earlier. I've got the create a task action added here, because if we're being reminded to follow up, creating a task is probably the next step. But you can build any custom action that you want to help your users take that next step. So that could be click to dial if you want them to call out. It could be navigate to a report or a dashboard or a related record. It could be triggering a custom flow that goes off and triggers some automation. So a huge amount of flexibility there just to plug in your actions into your notifications. And lastly, how do you want this to be delivered? So we've got a whole host of unique ways that you can notify your users. And it really depends on the use case. If it's really important, you might want to pop it up and lock the screen and grab attention. If it's something that's more of an FYI, it can be subtly, silently delivered, or it can just have a little highlight. And you can choose any combination of these. So this one's got a pop and focus. We can add a toast message even and say a little prompt there. Let's say we want to play a sound prompt, and we want to send an email that's already enabled. I also want to send a mobile push notification that's enabled, and we can send that via the field service Lightning app as well if you're a user of that application. And when you're happy with your selection, save, and that's done. So that's all configured for you. And we'll go to the very final step, which is just to play back our logic and see if this is correct. So Mondays to Fridays at 8 a.m, Acton's going to be looking for these accounts that haven't had any activity or haven't had activity in the last 45 days. Then we're going to fire this push notification to the owner of the accounts. We can click yes, save message, and we'll be taken to that more familiar screen that we saw previously, which is the editable view of this. And you can come back to this anytime via the search, accounts for that activity, via the notification tab, to make any adjustments or to deactivate or activate as you need to. So hopefully that was a helpful introduction there. I don't want to go into too much detail. We do have a lot of information available in our knowledge base. So if you navigate to the homepage, all of these here will advise you on how to set up new users, how to enable new objects, how to create a new notification, and what all the settings mean, and the customizability there, how to extend with tools that you're familiar with like Flow and Apex. All that sort of stuff is down here. If you have any questions or you get stuck, you're welcome to reach out to us. We have a link here to our email, which is help@overlayapps.com, and we'd love to hear from you. We're happy to help support you with any ideas or feedback or questions or challenges that you're facing. So hopefully that's been a helpful introduction. We hope you enjoy the application, and feel free to reach out to us, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching.